Hey everyone, hi. It's time to get into the next edition of the Jeff Gerstmann Hall of Fame. I rolled out of bed this morning and I said, you know, there's a long list of games here. Which one should we look at next? And one game stuck out to me, as it often does. When I think about my favorite games, the games that I played over and over again growing up, and in this case, I still play this game over and over again today. This is the Commodore 64 version of Bruce Lee. And it's a banger. It's not an open world game, though it is deceptively large, deceptively open, I guess, in a sense that at the time gave you the feeling that you could truly go anywhere and do anything. This version, much like the last Commodore 64 game we took a look at, cracked, or I guess recracked by this team at Remember. And they go through and they put instructions in and all this other stuff, which is kind of nice. There's also a bit of a trainer here. We're going to give ourselves infinite lives here, but not the other cheat, which is enemies can't hit you. That's no fun. Throughout your search for the wizard, you were attacked by the ninja. And also Green Yamo. These are pretty good instructions. It's always fun going back and looking at these games that have instructions of some form now, because when I saw these games originally, I never had any kind of instructions. The one thing you'd learn about Bruce Lee is that if you started the game in 2-player mode, but then just never moved the second controller, one of your two enemies was effectively, taken out of the equation. And so that was a little cheat, little bonus here. Unlimited lives, certainly. Opponents can't hit you. We're going to not go with that. This is a game that when I'm on this game, when I'm on it, I can definitely finish it without the cheats. It's not a super difficult video game, but it's been a little bit. And I want to kind of blaze through this a little bit for you. And okay, we have the wrong. First things first, we need to configure controls here. Let's see. How are we gonna? There's got to be probably an option here in the core settings. For swap joystick, right? This is what I get for using this version of Vice instead of the standalone version of Vice, which seemed like it would be the way to go. Joystick port 1. There we go. The Commodore is weird. That's really all I have to say about that. But the Commodore 64 is weird because some games, single player games, want you to use port 2 and some want you to use port 1. I'm gonna say a lot of games use port 2. And it's a really weird concept. They expect to have a mouse plugged in. Like, no, I don't know. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, so we have one button. It attacks. If I am running when I attack, it does this jump kick. If I'm standing still, it punches. And I can crouch here. But really, our goal is to get these lanterns, and there will be some areas that don't open up until you get the lanterns that you need, and really by the ones you need, I mean all of the lanterns. You will basically collect all of the lanterns in this game. Yeah. And so as they fall, you can kick them out of the air, stuff like that. They can land on you and vice versa, and that'll do some damage. They don't jump. Neither the ninja nor Green Yamo. And so, there are just certain platforms where they'll just never be able to get to you. And so once you have kind of understanding of how they get around, oh man, we're going to fall right in the middle of both of them here. I mean, I could just go for it. We'll be okay. So yeah. Oh, yeah. But then I jumped up, I climbed away. That's it. Yay. All right, now we go back the other way, and there should be, yeah, that bottom thing opens up. Because we got all the lanterns in this top area, we can now move on to the next area, basically. Oh. I find that the punch is generally pretty useless. The jump kick lasts a long time. And it's just out there for a long time. And so, oh man, he's like running on top of me. All right, now we're going to land on both of them. That little thing going across the pathway here will kill you if it hits. So you want to kind of time your jump to not get hit. Yeah, that's close enough for a jump kick, so they'll try and... Oh, we both got killed there. Okay, let's go. Wait for those to go and then fall. You have a little bit of weird air control. I don't know if you noticed there. I just kind of nudged over to the right ever so slightly. But that's something that happens. It's strange. Okay, so now we're on this moving pathway here. We can only collect the lanterns when they're lit up, which I think this is the only screen in the game, maybe, that does this. Oh, we're gonna... Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna get hit. Well, we got hit there, but... All right, we'll climb up. We'll climb away. And, oh, it's speeding up. Don't want to hit those knives. Come on. Is it ever going to slow down enough for me to get where I need to get, or do I just die? I don't know what the actual... Oh, yeah, there we go. We're gaining some ground. Ooh, okay. That was weirdly hectic right there. All right, so we've cleared this room. We can now move on to the next one. We got to take this long fall here. We got to try to time it. Yeah. And these little ground little things, these little reverse J's, whatever you want to call them. When we walk over them, they explode. And so you can kind of walk over them, and then the enemies will follow, and then... Oh, see, I screwed up there. Man. All right. We get these two lanterns, and that'll open another door on the right here. Oh, thought we were going to have to give that ninja the business. All right, so here we want to fall. Let that thing go. Oh, no, I totally misjudged that. I thought that would go over my head. Man. Actually, what we want to do here is just jump, I think. Right? Because we can go, yeah. Don't need to fall first. Okay, get that lantern. Now we can go across here and into this. Don't want to hit those little lit up spots. All right. Jump, jump, jump. So yeah, this game is it's when you first happen upon it, and you can just kind of run wherever it like seems like you can run wherever you want, right? You can just be like, oh man, I can go over here and go over here. Wow, there's so much in this game. The actual, the actual fact of it is that there's not really too many different ways you can go. There's there's kind of a set route through the game, and the solution is always you need to go and get all the lanterns. If you missed a lantern, a door doesn't open, and now you're just kind of screwed. And so maybe you need to die. Maybe you need to. Oh man, we got. Okay, now this one's going backwards on us. Yep. Whoop. Ah. I don't know why. Sometimes he gets stuck on that little bit there. Okay. Well, whatever. We can go back here. We can climb up here, and now this door to the right is open. I've died a lot of really sloppy mistakes. This is, this is what happens when you record yourself. You're like, oh, Bruce Lee, yeah, I'm pretty good at Bruce Lee. It's fine. And then you're like, oh, I'm playing terribly. I screwed that up. We're just gonna die down here now. I could go back and go back around, but. Oh man, it put me down there. So I got to go back around anyway. I guess the answer there is to fall, not to jump. I've also been playing a different version of this game. This is as far as I can tell, this is the canonical version. It may have come out on the Atari computers first. and this may have been a port. I can't remember the exact order of events, but the Commodore 64 version is the version I always encountered, and yeah, I just you know, at the time this had come out, or at the time that I had gotten my hands on a copy of it, I had never seen a Bruce Lee movie. And I was in like junior high or something like that. It probably wouldn't be until high school that I made friends with a guy who was like obsessed with Return of the Dragon, Revenge of the Dragon, I guess. You know, you can kind of, I think it ends up going by both names. One where Bruce Lee goes to Rome. And there's this, you know, his friends have a restaurant there, and they're being abused by a local thug, and so he shows up to help save the business. Ugh, I'm stuck in this weird hole. You can take a few hits before you full on die. Yeah, there we go. Got them both, except now they both respawn. So let's get these ones. And then, you know, since then, what you know, like he only made, was it like 5 movies, right? So not counting all the ones that kind of got cut together out of weird other footage, and you know, that's a whole thing. All right, we got those lanterns, and now we can go up, up, up. And now we're back up here. And now this bull is going nuts. Which I like. Okay. But that one is still my favorite. That is still, to me, the best Bruce Lee film. Where he's kind of that fish out of water. Like they have some, you know, there's some good little comedy to it. Let's see if these guys can kill themselves. Oh. Yeah, okay. That was my last. You know, the game could probably benefit from hit points or something. Also, watch this. We'll go bop and push him back into the explosion. Get him. Get him. We gotta. Oh, no. I gotta jump and get that one on the left. Oh, well. That's fine. Nah, this is. The other films in the Bruce Lee canon, they're good. They're great even, but that one, I just, you know, I think because I saw it first and because it was just like, it's just got a lot of like hilarious little bits in the you know, that probably don't. I wonder how well they play in the original and how much of it is just like the dubbing is a little funny. But that is the one where Bruce says, "Can I use your toilet?" And that's he's like walking around the car. Mustang. It's a Rolls. Yeah, to me it was always hysterical. Okay, so we went in this one. So you kind of go in these 3 different doors, and they will take you to 3 different places around the same area. Oh. He's just standing right in it. Take that. Uh-oh. Okay, let's just go for it. So these behave as sort of ladders. And we'll exit here, and now we'll go to this one. So you can't really... Oops. Wait, we want to get that middle one. Might as well get it now and not forget. Okay. Fall on that dude. That'll give us time to run out of there. Let's get that one. Get that one. And then these are extra lives over here, I believe. Or no, I guess maybe you just need that to kind of proceed to the next area. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, we're trapped in that corner. Well, now those things are there again, so maybe we need to go get them. Oh, okay. So since we got them, now we proceed on to this next area. All right. So far, so good. Oh, no. Okay. Bop. 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 And this is a safe one because those don't start until right there. And now we just go, and then jump again. Now we can just go. Okay. I think we're getting pretty close to the end here. A lot of backtracking on some of this stuff where it's like the order that the doors open in make it so it's like, oh, well, now I got to go back up and fall down the right side. I guess we're going to... This is getting caught between them like this is never a good... It's not great. Okay, we're going to climb up here. We're going to fall off to the right now, and that should open the way forward. Yeah. Just jump off here. This screen always reminds me of Donkey Kong Jr. There's that stage in Donkey Kong Jr. where you got the molecules and stuff that are... I guess we gotta... Okay. Right, okay. I'm like looking at it going, wait a minute, where am I going? We gotta go this way. Then climb up here. Now we can go this way. Okay, now we gotta dodge the ground thing and the thing on the top. That should be good. That should give us enough time to get over. We've done it. Okay. Let's go. Hard to the right. Over this knife. And then fall. And get that one. And that gives us the ladder piece we need to proceed. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, all right. That the guy's shooting fireballs at us, but we touched that thing and blew him up. And now we win. That's it. Congratulations. That's the end of Bruce Lee. You have to just run across the screen. You know, it's like shocking at first. So maybe you stand there and get hit by one of those fireballs or whatever's going on. But you really just run across the screen and touch that thing, blows up the big hulking monster, and then you end up in this weird room full of fire for a little bit. And it says like, all right, you win. Congratulations. You've made it to the weird room full of fire. That's Bruce Lee. And honestly, that's Bruce Lee. It's not a long game. But before you kind of make your way through it a few times, this game seems like it's going to last forever. You know, there's an element of it that's just like, oh man, especially for games of its time, right? I mean, the year of release on Bruce Lee is 84. And so when you think about games of 1984, they don't come in this size and scope, generally speaking. You know, that's still an era of the single screen platformer, where, you know, you have stuff like Donkey Kong and stuff was still you know, not that old in the grand scheme of things. And so this game just feels so expansive compared to the standards of the day for action games, you know, because obviously, you know, you would have role-playing games with, you know, in some cases, cruder graphics and turn-based action and stuff like that, that obviously would have a more expansive world because, you know, it's a full-on RPG. But for action, yeah, it just, you didn't really see a game of this size. And yeah, again, that's the thing that always made it stand out. And I remember, you know, the version of the game I had access to had this infinite life stuff built in. You know, it was a trained, cracked version of the game. And so, out of the gate, I was playing this game with infinite lives. But even with that, you know, and I didn't play this game first in 1984. You know, I didn't get my Commodore 64 until, I mean, it was probably more like 88. So, you know, I was like 12 or something like that. But even then, I would get lost. I would go like, I don't know how to proceed in this game, or I kill, you know, even with infinite lives, I feel like I'm still just not able to get it done. And so for the longest time, I would just play part of this game and get stuck and get frustrated and have to quit. Because I couldn't figure out, like, well, where do I need to jump? What do I need to do? Like, all that sort of stuff was just slightly beyond me at the time. And looking back on that now, that's sort of silly, right? Because, you know, you just watched me kind of blast through the game, like, you know, but it really is sort of things of like, oh, if you don't know where to go, you don't know where to go. You know, if you don't know, hey, you can climb on this, hey, this is a climbable object. So the game's not always great at kind of showcasing, like, this is a climbable object. This is definitely the direction you should go. And now that we're on kind of our second loop through, the enemies are a little bit more aggressive, which is, you know, kind of nice as well. You know, it's like a bit of a score-based game. We're gonna die, and I deserve it for mistiming that lantern. I love this game. I think it's just awesome. And there's another version of the game. The reason I'm playing the game this way and not in a dedicated C64 emulator is because I wanted to take a look at another version of the game. One that is much, much more recent. And let's see here. What's going to be the right... This is the right version of the game, I believe. Yes. Here we go. Let's make sure we get it back in here. Someone made a homebrew version of Bruce Lee. Kage-san made this homebrew version of Bruce Lee and put it out in 2015 as part of, I believe it's SMS Power's homebrew competition. SMS Power is a Master System and, I guess, Game Gear focused site that has been responsible for surfacing a lot of prototypes for those platforms over the years. And so we'll start this up. This I don't have any cheats in. But now we have a jump button and an attack button. Crazy. It's got music. Ugh, okay. We've got life meters for all of the enemies. And you can really just, in this version, you can really just kick over and over again and bully them. But also, this version doesn't, and you don't need it. It's not. It almost seems like a bug in the original version of the game. But the way you can kind of move one pixel left or right after a jump, after a fall, rather, it doesn't seem like this has that. This is kind of cool. Like, I don't know that I would say this game is necessarily 100% up to the graphical standards of the Master System, but also, this is a pretty good looking version of Bruce Lee, and yeah. And so I have not finished this version of the game, because you can't cheat, and I've not taken the time to create a cheat or two for it. It actually wouldn't be that hard now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but it's got a couple of different tracks on the soundtrack. I don't think it has a ton of music in there. Ugh. Oh. Oh, we didn't fall on him. And so here's our screen with the changing lantern colors. And they're much more, everyone is much more agile on climbing objects, which is nice. Did I time that wrong? I did. Oh, well, we somehow lived. Look at how good these explosions look coming out of this. Oh God, I did the thing. Look at those cool explosions. Oh. All right, we got that. Now that thing's gonna come back the other way. So yeah, I just I'm really in love with this version of the game. I'm really in love with the idea of someone saying, you know what, I'm gonna port Bruce Lee to the Sega Master System, and then like making a game that feels much more in tune with the kind of platformer controls you would want out of a game of this ilk, running on the Master System. And oh, I jumped it right. Oh, I mistimed that all the way. Okay, we got the thing. We'll go. Okay, we'll go up here. We'll get that. Climb on down. We'll go on up. See you fools later. Now what? Okay, we go up, we get these. This version doesn't have the bull making the noise constantly, though. That's, if we had to look at its downfall, that's it. That's the downfall of this version, is it doesn't go brum, brum, brum. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's climb away from that action. Oh, he just kept going, huh? Oh, man, I screwed that up. Oh, well. Take him out. Yeah, fall on down here. Yeah, I'm definitely down here. And here we are in our room with the 3 doors. If you remember from the original. Let's get that lantern over here, actually. Let's just get that one. And we'll take them in order. And now we'll do the center one. Oh, whoops. All right, kill everyone. And now this one. Let's get that one. Let's fall. Let's go get the middle one. Wait a minute. Oh, does that middle door go to extra lives or something that I missed? Because yeah. Well, we've been teleported here with no way back, so we'll never know. Yeah, go ahead and climb them up. I guess now I got to worry about his dumb ass right here, though. Oh, okay, let's just die. Oh no, Yamo will give it to you. Okay, so in my head, I'm gonna have to look at these screens and go, now, what is this one? And go like, oh, right, okay, it's the one from... This is a little modified, right? There's only one moving piece, so I guess there are 2 little moving pieces together there. Oh, this is much slower, too. This sideways skidder was much faster. I guess that makes that a little bit more dangerous than it was before. So we don't have the danger of, like, we can't jump high enough to hit our head on that one there. So it's a little bit easier in that specific way. And then... Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. We gotta fall. We gotta fall. Oof. That was hectic. Not gonna lie. Oh. Get bent, weird demon thing. I can't believe we did this. I've never done this before. Hey. There it is. It's a pile of gold, apparently, and not fire. Well, I don't know. That was this artist's interpretation of what that room was. I guess it's probably supposed to be gold. I bet if you go read, what is Bruce Lee doing in this video game? Maybe it's like, the wizard's got gold. Or whatever. Cool. So that's the homebrew Sega Master System version of Bruce Lee. Completed with no cheats, I might add. Even though it is, I'm going to say, slightly more difficult in some ways than the original game. I guess, like, you know, because the ninja and Yamo are not as easily abused in this version of the game. Like, once you get them attacking, you can just mash that button and pop with the kicks. But Yamo in particular just feels like more mobile. Does this loop back around? No, it just says the end. Great. Man. I am pumped. I'm very excited to have finished that Master System version of Bruce Lee. It's just it's so cool, you know. When you break it down, you know, because I got websites and other stuff and that are just writing descriptions of the game, and they're like, yeah, your mission is to guide Bruce through 20 screens. And you're like, 20? Man, it seems so much bigger than that. And I wonder if they mean 20 different areas, because there are some that like that top area that you start in, are they counting that as 3 screens or just one? Because it is kind of, yeah, I don't know. We'd have to go back and count, but this game came to a lot of different platforms. That Commodore version was the version I played most of, but there's an Apple II version. There's, of course, an Atari 800 version. There's even a DOS version from that original run in 84. And then you've got some other ports to other machines. Of course, there's a ZX Spectrum version, and the Amstrad got one. The BBC Micro, the MSX got a version a year later. One of Sharp's MZ computers, the MZ, I believe 800, got it in 88. And then the PC-88, the platform that brought you Super Mario Brothers Special, as well as the Sharp X1 potentially. There's a question mark next to it on this page. Maybe a version came out for that as well, which is the other platform that Super Mario Special come in. I bet it's really terrible on that thing. I bet it's a really rotten version of the game. Yeah, just a great game of its era. It just seems, like Action Biker before it in the Hall of Fame. I think it's a game that can stoke the young mind in a weird way, if that makes any sense, where like these games seemed immense. Even as someone who didn't get a Commodore 64 until later in the 1980s, when they were really on their way out and when the NES already existed, there was something about the nature of Bruce Lee that just felt so much bigger than it actually honestly really is. And that was a game that made me want to come back to it again and again. Even once I had kind of gotten the route down, and not that it's much of a route. I mean, like, hey, if you get the lanterns, the one door opens and you go through it. It's a pretty straightforward route. But once I got to the point where I knew, okay, jump here, fall here, do this, do that, and really kind of got the navigation down, it was still a game I would come back to a lot and play again and again, and just finish, and just knock it out and go like, great, okay. We ran to the right and killed the wizard thing, whatever bull demon, whatever the heck that thing is, and now I'm gonna go about my day and play something else, Space Pilot, I don't know, something else on the Commodore, or get up and go into the other room and play some NES stuff. But this was the system that even though these games are older, the Commodore 64 for me was in a lot of ways the system that bridged the gap between the NES and the 16-bit era, before the Genesis came out. I kind of stopped playing a lot of NES games because I felt that they just got a little stale, and just dug into, and also they were expensive. And Commodore 64 games oftentimes were free if you knew someone who owned a copy of the game or also had a copy of the game. Anyway, I had, let's see, there was 1, 2, there. I knew of 3 other people that had Commodores, and so between that and they would all know people. It was just like, they'd be like, I got this disc, it's got 9 games on it. And you're like, great, let's check it out. Give me a copy of that. We'll go buy some blank discs and all that other stuff. And so I'm sure that the price factor compared to the $40 $30 to $50 Nintendo cartridges, which I was renting a fair amount of those games at the time anyway, but the Commodore definitely had a really large moment in my life through kind of late elementary school into junior high, and then even into high school. I think by the time I got to high school, I probably had a Genesis by then. That would have made sense given the timing around the time the Genesis came out and stuff. But the Commodore I had a modem. The Commodore was how I called other computers and how I socialized online, and I had a Quantum Link subscription, which was basically America Online for the Commodore 64 before, same company, same people, even like Q-Link came before America Online came to the PC. And yeah, I would get on there and play online games with people, poker and bingo and stuff like that. And, I had a social group of people that I would play bingo with on Quantum Link, and I was like 12, but all of these people were like 40 plus, and they were always a little shocked when they discovered that I was in freaking junior high. So I usually kept it to myself. Yeah, but yeah, Bruce Lee is definitely one of those standout games from the C64 for me, and I think it's still a really awesome game. And again, this Master System port, you can find it online. Just Google around, you'll turn up a copy of it. You'll probably turn up 9 different versions of it, because there's the versions that were tech demos, and then as the developer polished it up and got it ready for release to 1.0, there are some earlier builds of the game floating around out there as well. So yeah, give Bruce Lee, I'd probably say give that Master System version a look. If you're going to check out any version of the game, it's probably the most accessible, because it has 2 buttons instead of 1, and just the movement feels much more in line with a modern game, whereas the kind of skittering nature of some of these earlier versions of the game, I think, might be a turnoff to players that don't have the kind of direct nostalgia for it. But I've got both. I love this game in a modern context in a weird way, and also of course the original those original Commodore 64 versions I went back to quite a lot, and so that's why, to me, it is a no-brainer. First ballot Hall of Famer. It's Bruce Lee from your friends at Datasoft, where the box art, as you saw on the screen, bills it as an action strategy game. That's how unformed a lot of the genres were at that point, where you look at Bruce Lee, because it had kind of that vague open world. It wasn't just run to the right. It was like, no, there's strategy involved in how you get them to walk over the exploding floor things and get them to blow themselves up. That's strategy. I think now we think of that more as action adventure, but action adventure was one of those genres that usually was predicated on the idea of you having an inventory. So you probably still would even just refer to this as a straight up action game when we think about where genres ended up. But back then, a lot of that stuff was a lot more fluid. A lot of people were making it up as they went along. And of course, the publisher of the game is going to do what they can to make a game sound deeper, so that you buy it. So that I'm that's why they would write strategy on the front of the box. But yeah, and I just noticed that. That's hilarious. So yes, thank you to Bruce Lee. Thank you to Linda Lee, of course, and the entire Lee family for their involvement in the Bruce Lee video game. A worthy and a can't miss entrant into the Jeff Gerstmann Hall of Fame. And I'll see you next month.